Buyers decide within the first few minutes whether they're interested in a property, and that's why staging is so important. We're joined with Crystal, our professional home stager that gets us ahead of the game and allows us to outperform our competition. So thank you so much for joining us. My biggest question is, I've already been in the house, but when you get to the house, what is the first thing you're seeing when you look at it and say, okay, I'm walking into the house for the first time?
Thank you, Raul. First of all, thank you for the introduction. And the first thing I do, I'd say, I walk through the house like I'm a buyer.
Okay.
I visualize the house first, and right away I can see how can the rooms can flow and how can we make changes that it can impact the house, right? So it's really important for me to see the house first, and then right after I start asking questions to the client or the seller in this case about what are the next steps for them.
Mm-hmm.
So from there to right away we can start talking about where the next
Yeah, because we want to know exactly what we can do, right?
Exactly.
And I always joke around saying that Crystal's going to show up, but she's not pulling up in a U-Haul and moving stuff in or taking stuff out, but you're giving pointers along the way. Because the biggest thing is when a buyer really walks in, they got turned off on different items. Too much clutter here, too much things happening over there.
Exactly.
Dive into that question a little bit more as far as what are some of the big red flags that buyers see going into houses?
Well, the big red flags to me are these three things, which will be clutter, strong smells, and dark rooms. Those three things really push buyers away. So whenever you're stepping a house that you are willing to buy, I always recommend to open blinds.
Mm-hmm.
We need light. Even for photos. When they're taking photos, we need light to bring it in. We have clients that they have pets. I love pets. We all love pets. But when it's a time for sell a house, we need to have a house with fresh smells. I do not recommend to put a lot of fresheners, of course, because people has allergies, but
Sure.
Fresheners are really important. And also declutter. It's really important to see a home tidy and clean and organized. We need to let the seller understand that they're selling a home. They're not selling stuff, items, decoration.
Right.
So they need to remove their items and things to make it look more attractive, right?
Which is important because there's a study that they've said that when a house looks clean and put together, they think that the house has been taken care of.
Exactly.
Have you ever seen someone open a refrigerator to see if it's organized or not? They kind of get that modality of, hey, everything's put together. So with that being said, how do you tailor your staging processes and guidelines to appease the most amount of buyers?
Well, Raul, I will always try to keep it cozy, but at the same time, always try to recommend to bring some neutral colors for bedding, clean spaces, of course, and furniture arranged to maximize the spaces. So whenever you have tons of furniture in a bedroom, so you cannot see the dimensions of the bedroom, or even probably you have a huge living room, but you have a tons of furniture, chairs, couch, TV stand. So it's not really, that's not what we're looking for when we're selling. So that at that point we rearrange furniture so that way the photos will stand out.
Mm-hmm. And we always want to say, don't worry about your stuff. It's not about your stuff anymore. It's about their stuff that they're moving, where they're going to put the Christmas tree, where they're going to put the dining room table. So with that being said, there's lots of stats out there. What have you found from your staging processes? And I'll brag on you here in a second, but I'm curious to see your take on it.
Well, based on my experience, I've been doing this for over 6 years already. I visit a lot of homes during the year, probably about 90 homes a year. So staging really makes a difference, and a staged home usually sells up to 3 more times and for a higher price than a house that it's not a stage, which that will give us the difference. If you see a house that it's not a stage online, right, on the photos, and the buyer is looking for photos, and this house is completely cluttered and this one's not, they will prefer to see this one, right?
So just a little tidbit on that. We found that every time we use your services, which is completely complimentary at the Schrader Group, not only do we sell the house for more money, but we sell it faster 82% of the time, which goes to your facts. And in a buyer market, that's really interesting because that's putting your best foot forward all the time. Now, when we look at what the sellers want to stage their home with their own interests and they want to say, you know, what's going on, what are your top tips to give them?
Deep clean, declutter, and probably bring as much light as possible. And don't forget, rearrange furniture so the rooms feel open and inviting. So the thing is, to me, these three things are the most important. If you don't clean a home before or prepare the home for selling, it's not worth it.
Yeah, I always say organized mess, right? Like everyone's like, well, can't put it in the garage. I'm like, yeah, but make sure there's a zone, make sure everything's organized, stacked right, because that's what people are going to see. They know someone's living there. So those three things that you just touched on are key.
And of course, Raul, I mean, I've seen homes that curb appeal is it's the feeling, right? And when you walk into a home, you walk into a front door and you can immediately see a dust in the front door or the windows in the hallway. So once you see a cleaning home, even on the flower beds and the driveway.
So that just hits me on my next point. Are there low cost items or things that sellers can do to get ahead of the curve rather than doing a whole complete remodel or something like that?
Oh yes, definitely, Raul. Actually, to me, like touch-up paint. It could be decluttering. I mean, you can start decluttering and packing and put it away, and doesn't cost you nothing, right? Bring some light, replace some bulbs, probably put some caulking around toilets, bathtubs, showers, clean windows. Windows are like, I've seen windows like no one has been touching the windows for years, so now it's a time for clean the windows and screens, and so those little things helps a lot.
Yeah, and I think those are big parts of detail, right? We
Detail.
talk about deferred maintenance all the time, the caulking the exterior, checking the AC, stuff like that. But those are homeowner obligations that they should be doing. But when we're selling, trying to get you the most money possible, these little things go a long way. So, Crystal, I mean, one of the biggest things when I walk into a home is saying, hey, let's take the emotion out of the selling process, right? Because people got their personal belongings and you feel it's a little intrusive of a process. How can you go and give the tips to say, hey, this is how we're going to get past that and this is how we're going to do it?
Well, first of all, Raul, moving out, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's a complicated. People is being through a lot of things when they're selling a home in different situations, families, work, everything, right? So the first thing I recommend when talking about personal stuff, it's depersonalize, trying to remove as much as possible personal from trophies, religious, things like that, because what I need them to understand is like we're not selling their stuff or items or decorations, they're selling a home, they're selling the features of the home and the space. So when they understand our part, it's more easier to them to understand that part.
So you're talking pictures, you're talking about
Trophies,
etagers that are
memorabilia.
full with china and
China, memorabilia, trophies, religious things like that. Photos, it's really important because when I introduce them with them at the first step, I tell them, well, this is your it's your home selling. This is your decision. At the end, it's your decision. I have experience, but I'm here to help you based on my experience of what I've seen on photos and with our clients. This is good for you. So it's really important for them, for the buyers to visualize living in the house. And when you walk through a model home, let's say there's no photos. It's really, really, really just like minimal decoration, right?
Which is perfect point here. When we see a house or you go buy a brand new house from construction, you go to the model home first. Why?
Exactly.
It's well put together and you have this vision of that's what I want, right?
Exactly.
And I want to make it look that way. And then it's easy to go sell a house that has no furniture in it, but it's the same model. Why? Because they fell in love with the style and what the potential could be.
Exactly.
And that's why on our side, it's so important, the staging.
It's really important because you are not selling a new home. It's not a construction. It's a pre-owned home, and everyone has different taste. Everyone likes different colors on walls, things like that. That's why if we see a red wall, I will recommend and suggest let's do and paint it in a neutral color. If we see bright colors on bedding spreads, things like that, I will recommend to go more neutral. So then photos will go more neutral and more beautiful.
And one of the things that a lot of my clients say that you go and visit is, more lighting like you had mentioned before, but also dark colors make your house and rooms feel smaller, where the lighter colors will make that same exact 10 by 10 room feel a lot bigger. And less is more, right?
Exactly. completely.
So then when we stage the home, not only does it help us get ahead of the game, but it helps our marketing team go into play and actually put the house on the market, right? And not just the market here in town. We're going global, we're going international, we're going nationwide, not just Texas. So we want to make sure that we're sending the best quality as possible. So the staging actually works hand in hand, right?
Exactly. And photos are everything online, and staging makes a photo shine. So it helps that stands out. That will give us more listings, bring more showings, and makes the marketing more effective, right?
So when we're talking about that, what are some big quick fixes that they could do for showings? Because everyone's always like, oh, there's a showing in 2 hours. What do I do? What do you say are like non-negotiables? Make sure these are done.
Well, kitchen. I will say clear counters as much as possible. Keep the dishes away. Try to keep the kitchen. Always women wants to see nice kitchen, and men always, but it's always nice to see a nice kitchen and clean. Of course, laundry. Put away your laundry. If you have towels, if you're in a rush and you have to go to work and you forgot to put everything, put it on the dryer, right? Make the beds, fluff the pillows, and maybe do or put some touch of greenery. Little things like that can make a big difference, and put some fresheners.
Yeah, so essentially make it crisp, but not going through and making sure that it's a perfect home because someone's living there, right? Well, thank you so much, Crystal, for all that you do for us here at the Schrader Group. And we are a full service team, so it's not just trust, it's actually a full team outside working for you. Staging goes a long way. We want to maximize your dollars and get you the most equity we can. So thank you so much. Please like and subscribe, and as always, have a blessed day.
Thank you.